Good morning. Monday, 22nd of May, and out for a walk. Haven't walked for a few days, and it's always good to get back at it. Easy to get out of the routine, but I knew this morning that I wanted to get back out into nature, back walking, and spend a little time as well with you all. So this is the Findhorn village. Across there is the Kelburn Forest, which is a beautiful place to go and visit, and across the way there is the Black Isle, and there is a whole bunch of seals. A colony of seals live on these beaches, and across that way is Berghead. So here we are on our beautiful Findhorn beach, which stretches for a very long way, all the way to Rose Isle and then to Berghead. Did a walk on the Rose Isle beach before, so some folk may have watched that and remember. You'll see a few brightly coloured beach huts soon. So I hope everybody's well. Had a good weekend. We had a lovely weekend. Colin had this last week off, and I semi-had it off. And then it was a busy week because a number of appointments, etc., that needed to be fulfilled, particularly around Mum's hospital visits, etc. But on Friday, she had her PICC line successfully inserted. A couple of issues with bleeding. For some reason or other, she bled quite a bit from the insertion site, so we had to get that dressing changed a couple of times. But once everything had settled nicely, we got in the car and headed down to Glasgow, where we stayed in a travel lodge on the Paisley Road in Glasgow. And it was in a less than salubrious area. However, once beyond the front door, it was lovely. It was clean and simple and everything that you require in that simplicity. And that evening kickoff was 8 o'clock, was supposed to be 8 o'clock, but we attended a football match. It was a final. So our grandson, Aidan, who's 14, was playing in his club final against Airdrie. And Aidan's with a group called Haldane. And they came out blazing and scored 2 goals really soon, really quick into the game. So we were very excited. It's the first football match I've ever been to that I have any memory of. And it was really wonderful to be there. Nicola, Aidan's mom, and Kevin, his dad, were there, and his big brother, Kieran, who's 21. So it was so nice to see everybody. But unfortunately, by the half-time whistle, the other team had equalised. So they went into the second half at 2-2, and the other team got 1 more goal. So Haldane lost by 1. But for me, I was just so incredibly impressed at how these youngsters could run a full course, a full pitch for that length of time. And just really impressive at their fitness, at their ability. I really found myself thoroughly enjoying the game. And we're very proud of Aidan, of course. Despite the obvious disappointment, we think he was great. But we understand that him and his team would have been quite sad. Well, after that, we went back to the hotel, had a good night's sleep, and the next day we went for breakfast in Falkirk at a place called Bob and Bert's, which do amazing breakfasts. I just really enjoy them. American style breakfasts, and I always have, it's a simple one, it's called a breakfast wrap, but Mum had smashed avocado and poached egg, and Colin had the big fry up, so did Nathan. Nathan and Micah joined us, and our very, very dear friend Chaba and his two boys, Jumbo and Oliver, joined us. It's been ages since we saw the boys, and Jumbo's not such a boy anymore. He's 17, taller than his dad, but always really special to meet up with Chaba. And then Nathan, Micah, Mum, myself and Colin went to go and meet our new baby Eli, and to see his very, very clever mum, Jen. So that was really special, very precious to meet our newest grandchild, our newest grandson. There are 5 of them, and we're just so blessed. Then that was it. We headed back up on the Saturday, travelled well, and then yesterday decided to take a day off, and that was great until I started the ironing, which took about 4 hours, because it's not my favourite chore and I leave it for ages. But Colin got out into the garden, and he loves doing that. He loves being out in the garden. So he got out there and potted, and we're going to put in a water feature, and we're looking forward to seeing that come into being. When we drove down, we noticed the really strange clouds. I think a lot of people did, and it was even on the news. They are termed mackerel clouds, but they are like these giant ripples of cloud in the sky. And there's a lot around this. We look up and we go, oh, isn't that sweet, isn't that pretty, isn't that, oh, I don't know, look at that unusual cloud formation. It's been happening for years. The clouds have changed and the formations have changed, and we've got used to it. But those were quite extraordinary, so much so that they were on the news, clearly. And then I saw an article that somebody had posted, and I posted it to my Facebook as well, about somebody who's reporting on geoengineering. And if anybody wanted to do any kind of research into it, it's not hard to find. Just go and look at geoengineering, type it into Google, type it into anywhere, and you'll realize that our weather is being engineered. We just don't know what the final impact is of that. I always feel that we just shouldn't be messing with the laws of nature, the laws of physics, that which was put in place to keep this world existing in balance. I know it's too late, that the imbalance is just part of, we're living with the consequences. But I wish we'd just stop. I wish we'd just leave everything to go back to natural cycles, etc. But we know that vested interests mean that that's not possible anymore. We watched there's a guy on YouTube called Jason A. And for years and years he collects news, collates news bits and bobs about strange happenings around the world. Not just strange, but I mean crisis weather events and mass animal die-offs, etc. And he puts these all together in little YouTube videos for people just to be aware of what's happening around the globe. And we don't watch it every day, we don't check all the time. We used to watch it quite a lot, but today, just before we headed off, we decided to watch again, and it was about the fact that the magnetic North Pole, which I mentioned in a walk previously, the magnetic North Pole is moving, is shifting, and the inner core of the Earth has stopped spinning. This has all been spoken about on mainstream news, so before anybody starts to say, oh, conspiracy theorist and tinfoil hat wearer, which I am, by the way, it's actually in the mainstream. But the concern is that we don't really know what this means. When I say concern, no fear, just like, oh my goodness, what could this possibly mean? And does it mean strange weather events? Because from what we're seeing on various channels and what have you, there is some extraordinary weather happening. A lot of earthquakes, a lot of hail in places, catastrophic hail, and a lot of stuff that's just causing all sorts of things to happen that are unusual. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's because the inner core has stopped spinning and the magnetic north is migrating. And there's talk about, in certain circles, about what that could mean. Now, if you're of a nervous nature, and if you're a worrier and an anxious person, or prone to fear, don't go looking for that stuff. It's not worth it. There's nothing that any of us can do to change those events. What we can do is to prepare. I think I've mentioned that before. Just to be prepared. Become resilient in your own home and in your own kind of environs. Think about what you might need if the power goes out for a while. Think what you might need if supply chains fail and there's no food. Think about, harvesting and, harvest rainwater if you can, and how to purify it for drinking and stuff like that, just so that you have a bit of resilience in case these things happen. Rather be prepared than panicked because of something that you didn't see coming. Zimbabweans are the most resilient people in the world as far as I'm concerned. And I know there are others who are very resilient, but these are the people that I know. And I saw a post on Facebook by one of the local, Fadzai Maheri. She's a lawyer, and I think she's part of a political party called the CCC, Coalition for Change or something like that. And she was just saying that Zimbabwe now has the highest rate of hyperinflation in the world, sitting at 666% according to the graphic, I think. And I posted it to Facebook earlier, so you can have a look. But that's just mind-blowing. We're feeling the effect of whatever ours is, 10% or something. I can't remember the last time. I think it was about 10.5%. And that was some time ago. Maybe it's gone up, maybe it's gone down here in the UK. But we feel the impact, and we know that our cost of living has changed dramatically, actually. So I can't imagine what 666% is like. And we know so many very, very special, precious people there who have learned to continue to live in that environment. So a bit of encouragement to those of us who live in a less severe economic climate is that let's learn from Zimbabweans, become resilient, make a plan, create some procedures and protocols for yourself. Give yourself some time to think through various scenarios. Find some friends. Network. I think that's one of the most important things, is networking and having people that you can call on, go to, help, trust, and set up WhatsApp groups. Zim works that way. If they don't have petrol or diesel, people belong to these WhatsApp groups, so that as soon as they see some fuel arriving in the country at certain depots or whatever, they tell their friends, etc., and people know to get there as quickly as possible. People know where to buy milk and bread and what have you when it's in short supply. And Zimbabwe's a country where municipal water is not something you ever expect anymore, even though you pay for it. And the colour of the water is terrifying at times. So they know how to, how to sort their water issues out. There's boreholes and people buy water, and we just got to learn to become more self-sufficient and less dependent on state services, whilst appreciating them. And that's another thing, I think, is just remembering to appreciate what we do have, finding something each and every day to be grateful for. I can't tell you how grateful I am to live where I live. It's a massive blessing to live in this part of the world, to live in a rural area. We were down, as I said, in the Central Belt, Glasgow, etc. Oh, what a pleasure to leave the Central Belt and to come back to this rural peace and beauty. There's only so much that more shops and more noise and more eating places, etc., can give you. But you can't beat nature, closer knit communities, the sound of bird song, and so we're very grateful. And I'm going to say goodbye. I probably would have liked to have come along here a little bit earlier to show you some of the little places down here. Maybe I'll just keep walking. Nobody has to keep watching this. If you're bored, if you've had enough, switch off, come back to it. Look at that. Well, this is Findhorn Village, a really old fishing village, and a massive destination, tourist destination. So because we're coming to this beautiful weather, the spring, summer, this place will be full of tourists. And it's actually just a really special vibe at the time. So you've got people and their kids and their dogs, and the campsites are full, and all the little B&Bs are full. The bay is full of boats and people on, stand-up boarding, supping. Stand-up paddling it's called, That's a great pub, by the way, Crown and Anchor Inn. We really enjoy. It's one of those old traditional pubs. Serves good food, great atmosphere. And there's all these homes which were at one point little fishing village cottages, and it's now this is a really expensive place to buy property, as any kind of tourist destination is. Anybody who's from the falls knows what I'm talking about, Victoria Falls. And just crossing the road, wanted to show you a shop along here called the Bakehouse. So the Bakehouse is an organic place that when we first moved to this area was like a coffee shop. You could go and you could get excellent vegetarian and vegan meals, etc. And then during the COVID era, with lockdown and everything, it reinvented itself and became a shop that sells organic veggies and actually all sorts of delights, and they bake and make fantastic things, fantastic quiches and stuff like that. So here's the bakehouse here. And I know some people watching this will recognize where we are. I'll just show you inside a little bit. Oh, you can't see because of the... yeah, there we go. Lovely. Oh, there we go. And I'm just going to walk. Here's the little store, the little village key store. And we'll just cross over the road so we don't bother the people. And yeah, well, that's what I really wanted to show you. And I am wondering if there's a cut through. The sun's up now and it's lovely and warm. So, yeah, gratitude. Today I am grateful for the warmth and the sun, the sound of birds, having a home, yeah, family, a new grandson. So much, actually, so much. I'm thinking of my husband who works so hard to get our garden looking the way that we want it. That's his particular joy, is to be out in the garden. And my mum, who's doing craft work because she can now, you know, she's got time and she has space, and now she's doing all these things, and they're so pretty, and it's just a blessing. Our kids, Julian just contacted me a little while ago to say he wants to come up to visit, so that's really just fantastic. We haven't seen him for a long while, and he will want to come and see his gran. My brother's going to come and stay. We're really excited about that. Derek will come, and don't know if Debs will make it. We really hope she will. Yeah, our family's special. And I think what I'll do is come to an end, because we'll be coming to the car soon. Oh, maybe I'll just keep going, because we'll come to the bay, and the bay's worth seeing. Yeah. So I hope that in this little, it's not so little anymore, it's quite a long one, that there's been stuff to think about, stuff to encourage you, stuff to hopefully, you know, make you think about. Yeah, I said think about, didn't I? Repeating yourself, Laura. A little bit of news about the family. It's been quite a full message today, and I didn't have any plan to go so long, but I figured, well, as I'm walking this way, no harm in showing you the whole trip. Yeah. Church of Scotland is closing down a lot of their churches. I think I saw in some kind of article recently, 26 churches are being closed. These buildings are, they're just not populated anymore, and they cost a fortune. They're stone, and trying to keep these places going and heated is impossible now, and particularly with the cost of energy. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. And there's the cenotaph. Yeah. Every November, the wreaths are laid in memory of those who gave their lives for the freedom that we have enjoyed, and which we're so tragically giving up so easily and so quickly. Be very, very aware, folk, that when there's a big story in in the media, and the media is covering something, you're very certain they're hiding something else. Usually a legislation that we don't like. And another thing, when the media is demonizing, when everybody's demonizing somebody, they're also hiding something. They don't want that person to be heard or seen. Oh, here's our car. So, I guess that's it. I would like to just say that I saw on Facebook that Dr. Rashid Buttar has died, and I think that that's an absolutely tragic situation. Dr. Buttar is a truthful doctor, a doctor who valiantly defended the freedom and autonomy of people during the last 3 years. And there are all sorts of thoughts about what happened to him. And we know that these things do happen. But his family are having to now, deal with his loss. And that's another loss to a community of people who have put everything on the line. And I suppose final thoughts are, listen to the cancelled voices. Enjoy this beautiful day. Bye, and lots of love.